That was too close! You were almost a Jill sandwich!
Welcome to Get Plugged, a weekly podcast from a bunch of guys who you really shouldn't care about their opinions, but we're going to talk about movies, games, music, comics, whatever else is off the top of our heads, and we're going to start with just getting out of the way Iron Man 3, which I believe all but Sean saw this week. Oh, introductions! I almost forgot. Who do we have sitting with us but Eric?
Osborne. I'm Eric, and...
Wes. Where are you?
I'm over here. This is Wes.
I like to keep him close. And Sean.
So
he's joined us for this week, our fine and honored guest. So, okay, back to what I was saying. Iron Man 3, all but Sean saw it, and thoughts?
Okay, the first thing out the door, I know you guys aren't the number crunchers that I am. I love talking box office.
For once, I'll be able to connect.
Comment on it, yeah. 174 million, second largest opening in history, superseded only by...
The Avengers.
The Avengers, which had opened around 200 million. It pulled in its entire budget before it even came out in the United States. It opened in China. The most interesting story about Iron Man 3 is that there are 21 minutes of the film we have not even seen. Do you know why?
Because it's racist.
Whoa.
Go. You know why?
No, but I wanted to say something concerning the numbers. Didn't it come out a day earlier than, like, it came out on a Wednesday or a Thursday?
It was a Friday opening, a midnight opening.
I think you're wrong about that.
I'm positive. It's a Friday opening. Not all films have midnight openings.
In the U.S., it was a Friday opening.
Right. We had that thing. In China, it opened like a week ago.
Right, but okay, never mind. Go on.
Well, I was just going to say the funniest thing about it is it was actually the film itself, because the budgets are getting more and more bloated with Downey pulling $50 million down a picture. The Chinese government co-funded Iron Man 3 because they took two popular Chinese actors in the film, which you guys saw them for literally a split second in the American version.
King,
the two at the end?
Ben King.
No, whenever again, now remember when they came back and you met the guy from the first film that Neslin or whatever his name is, the guy who saved Iron Man. He was in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
He was introducing him to this Chinese consulate member or something like that. He's a very famous Chinese actor. And he literally saves Tony Stark's life in one scene. And there's this other female actress, I think her name is literally Bing or Bing Bang. Not sounding racist, I'm just saying that's her name. And she has like another entire like almost romance with Tony Stark apparently in the film.
So was it all lip service? It was like,
it's completely lip service to the Chinese government and its country. These people co-funded the film just so they can get their Chinese stars in this film for 20 extra minutes.
Dude, let's talk about the ultimate Kickstarter reward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is totally the ultimate Kickstarter. By the Chinese government.
One of one sold.
So did all of Japan pay for the Wolverine or what?
Wouldn't that be great? God, like Kurosawa's great grandson pops in the film all of a sudden. That'd be fucking
was it
brilliant.
Japan or China? Now I feel weird.
It was China for Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
but
Wolverine's Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, Wolverine is in Japan. But anywho, I thought that was a really fascinating story. The coolest story about the box office gross, it was literally 84% or 82% of the entire box office, according to comingsoon.net, for the entire box office of the weekend. Each theater, on average across the United States, that they screened the film at least one screen, made on average of $40,000 in 3 days.
Okay, I'm curious. Do you know how much popcorn each theater sold?
That I can't track, but I can tell you how many screens they opened on in the U.S. I can tell you, on average, how much money was made.
I mean, I could get on my AMC Stubbs rewards, but that's just
me. Jesus. But no, again, back to the actual review of the film. How'd you guys feel about it?
Well, before we go on to that, let's just say there's probably going to be some spoilers here.
Yeah, plenty of spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Counting from 5 down.
Spoilers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
run away.
Cover your ears, children.
Okay.
Fast forward.
So anyway, here we go. Spoilers. It was silly. Like, the trailers make it out to be a completely different movie.
Mm-hmm. Not surprising. I wasn't surprised at all.
And then Ben Kingsley comes out, and he's all like, I'm an actor.
Dude, I thought
That's
that was
the
a great
biggest
twist.
spoiler.
Have you heard about this?
No. Again,
Okay.
I'm virginal.
So
Forgive us.
No, give it to
It's
me.
the only twist of the film.
Give it to me.
Ben Kingsley, the Mandarin, is a completely fabricated film character who's not even a real terrorist. He's like the face of this organization who's just a belligerent, drunken, drug-addled actor. And he's hilarious. It's so great. We were talking last week about how Kingsley gets typecast as the great villain, and he's just some hopped up cokehead.
It was
No,
like,
wandering
that's not. I
jackass.
don't think that's
it was like
cheesy.
Inception of our last conversation because he was typecast, but he was an actor in the movie, and he was cast as
An actor.
an actor. My
But
brain.
So, like, that was my biggest complaint with the movie. But that being said,
Loved it.
it was handled really well. Here's the quick version wasn't the movie I had planned on seeing. It wasn't at all like what I thought it was going to be, but I still loved it.
Good.
There were some things that I wish they would have handled differently. The Mandarin, I kept hoping.
You wanted the mustache twirling villain?
Yeah, I wanted
you
to.
that?
I wanted to see him beat
not
Iron
Shia
Man's
Whiplash.
ass. I wanted them
Like-
to go at it so bad. I kept hoping that they were like somehow going to bring it back to where the Mandarin was actually the master.
It was a great left-handed swing because they've been sort of teasing the Mandarin since the first film, and you kind of thought, especially with the advertising looking just like The Dark Knight Rises, real dark, bleak, man falls from grace, loses everything kind of story. That's how they advertised it, and so
It worked.
It was very, very
It got me in
sympathetic
the
in terms of
theater.
advertising to The Dark Knight Rises. So we totally see the League of Shadows, so to speak, coming up. Like in the Batman trilogy, but they completely pulled the rug out from under.
So I
them.
mean, was it kind of like and I'm just don't hold back. Was it kind of like when they revealed that Ducard was actually Ra's al Ghul? Yeah, I said it that way.
Well, I would say race too.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, it wasn't because it was funny. It was like, oh my! It wasn't like a Liam Neeson moment where you're like, son of a bitch. It was all like,
It was like Tony Stark walks in on him as he's drinking a Budweiser.
and he's
No,
like,
he's coming out of the bathroom and he's like, I
Oh,
wouldn't go in
no,
there
yeah,
for 20
yeah.
minutes.
yeah,
You're right,
that was
that's
a
his
poop joke right off the bat coming from Ben
Yeah.
Kingsley.
Yeah.
That's
You're
amazing.
like, what? Seriously?
So I mean, there's just like not even sinister like Prestige
Not even
style
at
with
all.
Hugh Jackman,
He's-
getting the double or.
And the dark tone of the film wasn't present.
No, it was.
Him dealing
It
with
wasn't the
anxiety
movie
was
that
pretty
was
interesting.
advertised. for
Honestly,
sure.
I'm kind of relieved to hear that though.
No, it was great, but it's just not what I expected. Like, I really enjoyed it, but I was also just expecting, and I honestly wanted to see something different.
Sure.
I wanted to see.
That's how I was with Inglourious Basterds.
But-
I wanted to see a traditional action film from Quentin Tarantino. Didn't get it, but I got a great movie instead.
My favorite part of the movie was the whole the section with the kid.
Oh, was
Yeah,
this
Like,
awesome?
oh
He
man,
gets in the car.
so
Yeah. Not to spoil the dialogue, Shane Black is a master of snappy banter. He and Downey,
That's hard to do.
it is hard to do. I mean, trying to write that kind of stuff, you sound like a sitcom, and Shane Black pulls it off so efficiently. And he's so quick to make the jokes, but not deviate from the character for the sake of the joke. And that takes a lot of skill.
It probably helps having Downey's sense of timing on
Oh, yeah.
set where people
His
kind of play
comedic
off of
timing.
And
it.
because when Downey's off, he sounds like Groucho Marx. He can
Yeah.
be pretty, over the top. But I mean, again, like I said, there's some redundancies in this type of film right now because we're really definitely comic film fatigue. But
Thank you for saying that.
it's true. But I won't say it felt completely fresh. But god
No.
dang, it was entertaining.
that was another issue I had with it was the same thing one of the things I hated about The Dark Knight Rises. Like I said, that The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
That he was without his suit most of the movie, or with just
It's a Tony
parts of
Stark
the
film.
movie. And like to me,
I did
that was a little bit of a cop out. Like I knew you were gonna love that. Like it's
Loved
more
it.
Tony Stark, less Iron Man. You get to
Right.
know the man behind the mask.
You know?
I want to see Iron Man in his suit kicking the Mandarin's ass. That's what I wanted to see, and I didn't get to see.
You like
that.
seeing
Oh.
robotic men kicking Chinese people in the face?
Yes.
Okay.
Wes, you're a filthy racist.
yeah.
Didn't
Yes.
Guillermo del Toro make a movie just for you that's coming out later, Pacific something or other?
Well, Well, it's
We
like
talked about it last
right,
week.
that's,
God bless
I
it.
just didn't like.
Gojira.
I didn't like that about Dark Knight Rises. Like, I went to see a Batman movie, not a Bruce Wayne movie, and I kind of felt the same way.
Well,
about Iron Man.
no, I mean, again, I haven't seen it,
That's
but
just my
Dark Knight
opinion.
Rises was a whole nother level of cram. Like, that story was
Too
so
much.
No.
rushed.
Too much story.
But, like, with Robert Downey, he is so much more magnetic. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Iron Man 2 just because I felt like Mickey Rourke got shafted on the
Yep.
deal.
Mhm.
As I was listening last week, because, I'm a stalker. But
You're a fan.
I had to brush up. I'm like a super fan.
I'm glad you listened to it.
I've listened to all of it so far.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I felt with Dark Knight, like, Christian Bale's not strong enough to carry that as Christian
He's
Bale.
not charismatic.
He can carry it as Batman, but that's it.
No, I don't even.
Robert Downey can carry it, as Tony Stark the whole movie, I feel like, and you could never see Iron Man and still get something out of it.
That's true.
I feel like Downey is Stark, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a more perfect person to play him. So,
Wasn't that in Ultimates? Like, when Hitch and
But we're
Millard
going right
did
to
it?
comic territory
Well,
now. The
yeah,
Ryan
sorry
Hitch,
about that.
Mark Miller series Ultimates. I mean, I know not everybody who's listening is a comic fan. If you want to know where Marvel is getting their template for the films, you read the first 3 years of Marvel's Ultimate Universe and the Ultimates itself. You're reading some of the best cinematic comics in history, I think.
I mean, that's where Sam Jackson came from.
Straight up,
Robert
yeah,
Downey.
yeah.
I mean, they cast him in the comic.
Yeah, now that's a brilliant.
But they
play on the
didn't
part
they
of Mark
actually
Miller.
change that in the comic? And that's what you were saying was they changed Nick Fury because he was a white dude originally.
Yeah.
They changed after he was cast as Samuel L. Jackson in the Ultimate Universe. They changed him. Am I right about that?
No. It's always been literally no joke. The Ultimate Universe they would, it's been 8 years since Miller and Bendis. 10
Forever.
years.
Yeah.
Mark Miller and Brian Michael Bendis started the Ultimate Universe as just a way of let's take Marvel Comics, let's break the mold though. We don't want to destroy Peter Parker or Wolverine. We want to break him in another universe. So they literally took like stock photography of Patrick Stewart as he's Professor X in the Ultimate Universe. We're going to make Sam Jackson Nick Fury. We're going to make Downey Iron Man. All this stuff was done in the comics before it even got to film, preceding about a good 4 or 5 years.
They even had a meta conversation in the comic between the characters when they're on the SHIELD helicarrier, and they're talking about who would play who.
Right.
And so, Fury's like, "Oh, Sam Jackson, that's who's going to play me." And they were like, Robert Downey's going to play Tony Stark, and
then Wasp says
Steve Buscemi was going to be Bruce Banner, which was kind of, I think, a joke because they couldn't find anybody with the buggy eyes. And Brad Pitt for Captain America, which obviously didn't happen, but I liked Chris Evans. I felt like he was a little bland in Avengers, but I liked him overall.
Well,
he was way better in Cap than the Avengers.
He was so good in Cap.
Yeah, and his character was underplayed in the Avengers.
Okay.
I felt.
Here's an interesting anecdote about Cap. And I know we're deviating way off topic from Iron Man 3. Do you know who was originally cast to be Captain America before Chris Evans took the role?
Let me take a real guess at this.
I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
I feel like I knew this answer at one time, and it's...
He's on a very famous cult television show called Supernatural.
Oh.
It was Dean from Supernatural. Dead serious.
I can see that.
He was one of the front runners for it.
He'd have to get
It was
super
Dean.
cut.
It was Dean, Chris Evans, and John Krakowski from The Office.
I heard the John
Krasinski.
Krakowski one, or Krasinski,
Krasinski,
yeah.
because you need that, like, sensitive all-American boy who
And those
starts
guys
out
all fit the
as
T.
weak
But that
or
CG
whatever.
was sick, though, when he was, like, all scrawny.
Yeah.
I guess that would actually be Krasinski, and they'd have to CG, like, all the muscles, but
Sure.
flip it around. Guys, I can't quite fit my suit. It's just kind of hanging off of me.
But I enjoyed Iron Man. It is a little bit. We've seen a lot of this kind of stuff before, and because Downey's really just playing Downey at this point. But who cares? It's so entertaining.
I will say that I did like it better than The Dark Knight. I really liked.
Dark Knight Rises is almost not fun.
I bought
It was
that.
not fun.
Like I don't
It
know
was
why I
punishment.
bought that movie. I guess just to finish my collection, but I haven't even opened it. Like I have no desire to watch that movie again.
Right, but I think it's a way of kind of supporting the idea of the trilogy. I mean, for me, Batman Begins was the best one, just because I love origin stories, but
Yeah, I'm with you.
I bought it as well. I felt like it was a way to support the trilogy as a whole and
finale.
say, hey, listen, I really want Man of Steel to happen, so I will buy this just so you keep going, because I hate Superman. Please make him awesome.
Yeah.
But did you see the last trailer? Not to retread too much ground.
Oh my God!
Are you
The third one, right? Yeah. Now I'm sold. I think it
Me
came
too.
out.
I was a little soft. I know Zack Snyder
times.
could sometimes play it up a little too much, but man, I'm sold.
Zack is great with other people's IP, but not with his own.
So, you and I are brothers on this, man. Sucker Punch. I walked into the theater excited. I walked out feeling just deflated.
Beautiful movie.
Beautiful film.
Horrible story.
Oh my God!
I loved
How did they even
it.
get
What?
He loved
it so
How did
much.
they even get what's his name from Mad Men in that film? I mean, what the hell? What did they fucking bribe that guy with?
Yeah, they must have had photos. I think they had photos.
I totally agree. The story was complete.
I mean, you
garbage,
put girls,
but
skirts, swords, high heels, and
How can you
Romans.
not like that?
And
Steampunk
And it was
robots.
beautiful, and the music was good. Like,
Yeah, I gotta have some meat on the bones though. I can't have just like it's like if you get fried chicken, it's just all like the awesome fried part. And there's no chicken. Like it's just like fried, just
What if-
gross.
what
Like
if
that
you-
part is awesome because of the chicken.
what if you were to turn the volume just completely off and just watch it like
No,
that?
I can't. I mean, that's what Tron
even the
Legacy's
pacing
for.
is bad in that film.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a mess.
Yeah.
I still love that movie.
You know,
though.
it
It's
kinda
not- I
reminded me of
don't
reading
think it's a
Heavy
good
Metal.
movie.
It reminded me of reading Heavy Metal magazine when I was a kid, where it's like, oh, titties here, swords there, and I was like, this. I should love this film. I bought it for $5 at Walmart just to watch it again. It is a goddamn disaster.
I
Because
agree.
you bought it for $5 at
Dude,
Walmart.
there's some great horrible shit out there to watch.
I
Like,
buy
for
That's
example,
what I'm saying. Is
Swamp
like,
Thing is a great horrible
Yes.
film.
I
It's
love,
a great
I
horrible
love
film.
some horrible movies, and I know they're horrible. Like I know that Sucker Punch is a terrible movie, but I
Yes.
still love it. Like it's fun to watch.
I mean,
Maybe
it's
if I
cool
watch
to
it
have guilty
small.
pleasures as long as that's where it's classified.
no, I know it's a bad movie.
I mean, I love Starship Troopers about once a year,
Oh,
but
Paul Verhoeven, man, get me started.
I'm
I love
pulling you
that
guys
guy.
away, into the nostalgia land. I want to hear more about Iron Man 3 though. For me, part of the problem I had with Iron Man 2, and I'm hoping that it kind of got alleviated, was a lame kind of build up finale and Pepper Potts.
Pepper gets played. Now, here's the thing. Pepper, she falls into what I call the Mary Jane trap because you can't seem to get Mary Jane out of it.
Ugh.
Where she becomes a plot device as opposed to a character. And they kind of, they really wanted to resolve it in this one. They chickened out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you guys who actually have read Extremis by Warren Ellis,
Great book.
it's the best Iron Man story, period. People want to talk about,
The Adi Granov did all the
Adi
art.
Granov did the art. I mean, it's beautiful stuff. The extremist virus, they tied that into Pepper actually not being so depowered all the time. They're following her. They're building her up. They actually injected the extremist virus into her,
Okay.
which is a fantastic way to play her as opposed to being the victim, the bait. But at the same time, it's like now we have 3 Iron Men in the series now. We have Pepper, we have
Mm-hmm.
Rhodey, and we have Stark. So how do we keep these characters interesting and compelling after this series?
I hate what they did with her at the end.
I didn't mind it. I wish they used her for bait. No joke. They used her for bait at the end.
Not that. Like I'm talking about how she's kind of comes in at the end and kicks ass.
I thought that was great.
No, it wasn't.
It's so against stereotype. It's so against the conventions.
How do we explain this? What did you think about that? When
I'd have to agree. I wasn't a huge fan.
she gets.
It's not traditional, and it's definitely rushed.
So you don't know what we're talking about, do you?
Well, no. So from
He's
what
not
you
figured it
said,
out.
I've read
Was
the
it that
extremist
happened
art.
in the comics?
Not exactly.
No, not really. But I know what the extremist kind of concept
Did
is.
you read the stuff after Extremist?
Yes.
The stuff written by what was the guy who wrote the Iron Man series after?
That
Ellis?
was.
It wasn't Tony Moore. That was Batman. I can't remember, but I'm assuming that what has happened is that she's gotten the extremist virus, entered the nano whatever, and it's made her.
She's next up for the suit now at this point.
Okay, so they basically made it. Well, that's not too far out of line because in the comics, at various points in Pepper Potts' career, she's been given powers or suits or whatever. In the Ultimates,
Oh,
the Black Widow
all
got
right.
her own suit.
I never really read the Iron Man comics, but that just came off to me as completely cheesy, and I just.
It might be a piece of fan service, honestly. Just
And you know what? And that may be why it didn't bother me because I saw it coming from 2 miles out. I'm so sick of Mary Jane being thrown up in the web and Dr. Octopus has her. Oh, Mary Jane's now being taken over by Sam. And oh, Mary Jane's.
Well,
I get
why
sick to death.
why
of the
did they
male
even have
protagonist chasing the
to-
woman around.
like have to have a damsel in distress? Why can't she just be safely left at home and out of?
Well, why
You know.
that? Why not be actually part of the solution? I get tired of female characters being written the same way. It's the whole Gail Simone thing where it's like the girls in the refrigerator. I'm so fucking tired of that. I really would love Marvel Universe to do a really good job because they're in a great position of power here, to where not only does the Iron Man series appeal to a mass male and female audience, let's stop depowering the women in these films. We've got one, Black Widow. That's it. That's all we've got is Black Widow, who's empowered now. And I'm so sick of it being such a masculine-driven industry in terms of like the guy's got to be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
But you're asking a character to emerge as a hero that wasn't to begin with. Like Tony Stark is.
She's definitely the more ethical
genius
character.
Inventor, but she started as what, a secretary?
Yeah.
So I don't want to see.
It's a big
that.
stretch.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not an unfair criticism either. But
I mean, it did take it. I mean, in the comics, it took years and years and years of arc building to get to the point where Pepper Potts was, running Stark.
Right. I feel like that's kind of waiting for Princess Leia to be a Jedi sort of thing. Like,
well, that's what happened after
years
the movies. If you read the books and
yeah.
Star Wars
Some are pretty good.
And it's not canon.
Okay, in the
Timothy Zahn stuff pretty good.
That's canon.
Yeah.
Except for whatever.
Well, we're getting way.
in the comics,
Don't think so.
are Tony Stark and Pepper Potts romantically involved in the comics?
Absolutely.
For a while though, Pepper and Happy were married. Really, I think early in the series, and then they
That was
kind of
back
rebooted.
Yeah. They pulled that out.
John Favreau.
They even before that.
Happy Hogan. What's his name?
Yeah.
Happy Hogan.
Yeah, Happy Hogan.
Yeah.
That was from the original Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos thing, I think.
Okay, but overall, the three of us feel pretty strongly that Iron Man 3 was a great entry in the series.
I liked it, yeah.
Were the suits hot?
Okay.
That's what I want to know. I'm a visual guy.
You've seen the ads. I won't spoil too much for you, but I mean, it's cool to see the Hulkbuster armor in the film.
Nice.
It's cool to see the stealth armor in the film. It's like all these things pop up. It's like, and then of course the automaton.
So yeah, I want to cadre.
I feel differently on this because that was my problem with the movie. His armor, he wasn't in the armor for very much, and then at the end, you see all these armors. You see how many different armors that he has.
40 probably.
But you only see each one for just a split second. And that bothered me. I wanted to see.
You want him to embody that armor as a character.
Were you an Iron Man cartoon fan? No. I'm not. This is not a knock. I watched the Iron Man tagged on with the crappy Fantastic Four.
I remember that one
because Marvel was always a terrible, terrible animation.
I don't think that I've ever seen it.
Dude, so the Mandarin was green, and had the really long mustache and the rings and all that.
That sounds like 1950s propaganda.
It was so bad. But Iron Man had a different suit for every situation. I mean, if ever there was a marketing tool that a toy company would use, it's Iron Man.
Made the figures. It was literally here's your shark repellent. Here we go.
He had a suit for everything, and in the cartoon, you would see that all the time. So I was when I saw some of the previews, I was a little excited, oh yeah, 7-year-old me is let's do this thing, But
yeah.
We didn't touch on it. Well, we sort of did, but you were talking about how you wanted to see the man behind the mask. That was what I liked the least. Whenever he storms the mansion where Potts is, and he goes to Home Depot and puts together a bunch of makeshift stuff. I thought that was kind of lame.
Okay.
I don't know. That bothered me because he draws his power from his genius and his ability to invent. So I guess that's his asset. That's when
his
you strip him
superpower.
down. Okay.
Yeah.
But I like Bruce Wayne more stripped outside of the suit because he's actually had formal training in martial arts or whatever. But I'm just supposed to expect Bruce to be able, or not Bruce, Tony to be able to take down a bunch of armed guards or whatever with his electro hand. It was very coordinated. And
I would agree, and that was almost militant in its approach. That was stretching believability, but I would say that you follow it up with the silliest scene in the film.
It's true. From that point out, I was checked out.
Yeah.
You can do whatever now.
You can do whatever.
3/4 of the way through the film, it just became a buddy cop movie.
Which, bringing it back to Shane Black.
Nice. Is that where the little kid comes in?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say when him and Brody get together, but I guess even at that point,
Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon. There you go.
I guess so.
Hero.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not super directly related to Iron Man 3, but the Iron Patriot. You know, having read the Dark Avenger arc, like I was expecting
Harry Osborn.
some Osborn, some Osborn up in that,
Nope.
and when I saw
It's
that
just
it was
armor.
Don Cheadle, man,
But that's first of all getting terribly nerdy, and B,
Yeah.
we're bringing in way too much Avengers stuff after that because we've got to establish Harry Osborn as an Avengers character, and then bring him into the Iron Man universe and the film.
I don't even know what's going
Too
on.
much of a
now.
stretch.
I didn't
is it
know.
Harry or is it Norman?
Norman.
Norman. I can't remember which one is dead now and which one's.
Harry's-
Again,
It's an
the
Osborn.
ethos gets really crazy after that.
I'm a little lost.
We're talking about Spider-Man.
No,
How are you
yeah,
lost?
but I didn't know that Norman was a.
He was the
part of
Iron
Avengers.
Patriot. There was a point. Fuck that. We're going to go way off the rails.
We'll do that when
Iron
we get
Man
to
3,
comics.
Shane Black, thought it was a great film. I think it did everything that Iron Man 2 was trying to do, but it did it better. Everything. And Guy Pearce was talking down his character. I think he was throwing people a left curve there, just trying to trick them. His character was a lot bigger in the film than he made it out in interviews preceding it. The funniest thing about this film, I thought, right off the bat, and this is for film buffs, this is like the 7th film Shane Black has said at Christmas time in a row.
That was weird. Yeah.
And because there's no way they ever plan on this being a holiday release. It's just Shane Black saying things happen at Christmas time. And that's what he does. It's one of his little throwbacks, a little nod to himself.
Did
if you will.
Monster Squad happen
At Christmas?
time?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I watched that not too terribly long ago, but I don't remember it being around Christmas.
Well, I guess, have we chewed that one up too much? We
Probably.
need to move
I
on?
think we've talked
Probably.
about it for about 30 minutes.
Here's the thing. Again, I love picking on Michael Bay. He's every critic's flipping boy, and I used to do film criticism back in the day. He's relaunching another 80s property,
Oh,
Ninja Turtles. Now, we've already talked about what he wanted to do with the Aliens Turtles. He's actually digressed on that. I wanted to say, Megan Fox in a Ninja Turtles film, I guess April O'Neil, I'm pre-assuming.
Yeah,
Fine.
she's.
I'll eat that one. That's fine by me. I
Yeah,
have
you'll
no
eat it.
personal problem with Megan Fox. Just put her in a bikini. We're good.
but did we just talk about how we wanted to break the female stereotype of always being needed to be saved?
Yeah, Eric.
Boom.
God,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, is Michael Bay going to be the guy to
Have
do
a double
that?
standard,
Is Michael
shall
Bay
we?
going to be the guy to do that?
I'm just saying, we picked Megan Fox, who prototypically plays like those characters.
Put her in the Daisy Dukes. And let's just get this film over. Let's just get it over.
Can we get her in the yellow jumpsuit?
Do you guys remember the female Ninja Turtle?
Yeah, that's pretty bad from the show.
I pretend
Venus
that
de Milo.
didn't exist.
Okay, but instead of talking about the film we haven't seen a trailer for yet, because they didn't even got the design for the turtles down yet, and they're already shooting this thing.
You know what
I
design?
want to ask. Go ahead.
You know what design was fleshed out was Nicolas Cage's Superman costume.
Have you seen the pictures of
Tim
that?
Burton shit.
Yeah.
So you listened to that?
You sent it to me
Oh
at work.
man,
And it, yeah, that
the
was,
'90s mullet,
Not
man,
at work.
hardcore.
I about died.
It's brilliant. I would love to see that film. Superman, no. I want to see that.
Didn't they
film.
kickstart the
The
documentary?
documentary? Yeah.
Did you back that?
Oh, I didn't put any money down on it, but I would buy the film. Last time I put money down was on
I don't know that I would
Mars.
back
That's
that
another
one.
story, though.
I put $10 on it to see some stories about Nicolas Cage's shame.
Oh God.
He's got two good movies.
Does he have shame?
Go. Which ones are they?
The Rock,
Which is awesome. Michael Bay, ironically.
8mm.
You didn't
Oh,
like
no,
True
no,
Romance? Not True Romance.
I love True Romance. True Romance
What's
is
the
a hell
what's
of
the
a
one he
movie.
did?
The
David
Coen
Lynch.
brothers.
No, David Lynch.
Raising
Um,
Arizona was awesome.
Oh yeah, the Coen's did. Raising Arizona's fun. It's like a Bugs Bunny cartoon with human
Yeah,
actors.
that's
wrong
right.
I could take it or
adaptation.
leave it. I don't know. Just for me, like, I love The Rock because he plays himself against Sean Connery. And I love 8mm
Isn't it
because
weird how they made
it's
him action
freaky.
star after The Rock?
What
Yeah.
about Matchstick, man?
Oh yeah, he was good. That Sam Rockwell's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And then
Oh, I love the Sam
adaptation,
Rockwell
which I
thing.
have not
Dude,
seen.
He's great.
I can't. It also dates back to Green Mile, followed quickly by Charlie's Angels 2.
Oh, here's that. Oh, you watched that one?
Dude, you watch a lot of things when you're dating girls.
Oh, well, you want to watch good Sam Rockwell? Watch Seven
Moon.
Psychopaths.
Moon. I keep
Moon.
hearing Moon is like the
Moon
bomb.
is fantastic.
So good. It's
Moon
so
is
good.
fantastic.
All right.
I mean, you know, I could talk about that all day long, but Sam Rockwell's done some good stuff. But
I'll give it a try for you guys.
Ninja Turtles. Which Ninja Turtle were you?
Donatello.
I wasn't allowed to
Okay.
watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because they're ninjas and ninjas worship the devil.
Oh God, are you
That is
serious?
actually a scientific fact. That
Yeah.
happened.
Okay.
Well, you don't get sweet powers by like
Okay.
worshiping God.
Now, I'll talk about which one you liked and which one you were. Raise your
Okay.
hand if it was Leonardo.
Well, okay. I want you to guess. You
Okay.
probably know.
I would say you were wanting to be Leonardo, but you're definitely the Michelangelo as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I liked his blue bandana headband thing.
Yeah,
That's why I like Leonardo the best, and because he had a katana.
right.
But I liked Michelangelo's attitude.
Dose.
Okay,
So
now, so are you out of the loop on the Ninja Turtle thing? You're just completely out to lunch.
What else?
So he's out to lunch. I mean, he's
Were you
Raphael,
alive
right?
when they were around, or?
I think so.
I wouldn't peg
Because
John
they've
as
always been
Raphael.
around.
Well, he's not
But,
that
like,
abrasive.
you're talking about the 80s, 'cause
Maybe-
now
but
I'm
he's
The
aloof.
late 80s,
No.
yeah.
It's born in 90.
God's fetus. What did I say?
I would say
Man,
I'd
yeah.
say John's probably Michelangelo.
You think? Well, he's silly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty.
I could. Yeah,
He can do some good voices.
You know, and he's not a pothead, but he could be a pothead.
I would say Eric's a Donatello. I
Straight
think
up
I
and
already
down.
knew that, but
I'm a Donatello.
you're
I'm a
a
nerd.
thinker.
I'm building
You're a
shit.
thinker.
I'm fixing shit.
Yep.
And why anybody else is other than Donatello?
You guys sound like one of those lame Facebook apps like a couple of years ago. Which Ninja Turtle are you?
Hey,
Yeah, but you don't have to get your permission over here. Like, we'll just tell you, like, hey, listen, this is what you are. Now, do you want to tell your friends? Because we've got, like,
What Pokemon
12
are you,
listeners
Eric?
you
I
can
was
tell.
Donatello Pokemon.
Are you a
Sean,
werewolf or a zombie?
I don't know about you.
Dude, I was always Donatello in every video game that they came out with. He was, like, my favorite turtle.
I
but
didn't want to ever be him because of his purple.
I loved it. It was awesome. Well, actually, in the original Turtles, like, no, they were all the same color. But
Mm-hmm.
in the cartoon and the movies, that's when they started going with
yeah.
the different colors. But I always liked Donatello. Michelangelo was, like, my least favorite turtle because he never took anything seriously. And
There's some
it would
serious
piss me
shit
off.
going on.
I'm like, listen, you're
Sean,
ninjas.
we might not
You
get
got
along.
foot soldiers. You got, like, evil mutants, and, like, all you can think about is pizza.
we
Shit's
may
got to
not-
get done.
We may not be friends by the end of this episode.
We could always change topics to something I could talk
Oh,
about.
okay. Last thing I want to mention. This is the last common thing I want to mention. If people haven't read Scarlet by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Malev, read that one. It's issue 8 just came out recently, I think. And before Watchmen is completed, I know that a lot of really talented guys working on that series. Adam Hughes is working on it. They got Brian Azzarello. But my favorite series of the bunch was the Silk Spectre series by Amanda Connor, who is a lovely gal and a wonderful artist, and Darwin Cook, who did such a great Spirit series about 4 years ago. And I could talk about comics longer, but I think I should call it there because we've been doing comic film for a while.
So the Ender's Game trailer just
Go.
and it looks
Ben
awesome.
Kingsley with face tattoos.
Yeah. Him and his silly face tattoos.
You
I
read
love-
the book?
Yeah, I read the book and
So
I
have you
hate
read
the
the
last
book?
10
No,
pages.
Have you read the book?
Not read it, but I know it's required reading for every middle school kid.
I've never read it. Okay, so I'm going to ask John,
Mm-hmm.
bro.
Okay.
So I saw the trailer, and in the comment section, people were flipping out about Ben Kingsley in the trailer, saying it was like a huge no-no that they were showing him.
Remind me, why would that be?
I don't know. I haven't read the book.
I mean, I read it, but
They're flipping out saying
It's
it's a
because
spoiler
he's
or
not
something.
actually in the movie.
maybe it's from the next books or
It's
something.
actually
or
Adrian
he's-
Brody. I get those two confused. Sorry.
It's the nose. No, I try and actually tune out my memories of Ender's Game just because the last 10 pages.
You really didn't like Orson Scott Card's writing on that
It's
last...
amazing up to the last
Really?
like,
Okay.
5-10
I gotta read
pages
it then.
because it gets crazy.
So
and
then,
it
why are you so excited about it?
because it looks amazing. Because
See, I didn't-
It
I
looks
wasn't-
tasty.
yeah, like 95% of it will be awesome, and
It looks like G-Monk did all the UI and the graphic animation stuff, and I love everything he does.
See,
So.
I saw the trailer. I just wasn't sold on
What
it.
do you think of Harrison Ford in that film? He looking pretty ragged, isn't he?
Dude, is he still alive?
That's
That
was-
kind of what I was getting at.
that was
Animatronic.
why I was interested in it at all. Like
Sure.
I've never read the book. I don't know anything about the book. I watched the trailer and it just didn't do anything for me. It didn't look particularly amazing.
Isn't he 71 at this point? 72?
I mean, he's doing pretty good.
I mean, he's doing great for his age, but he's not Han Solo anymore.
He's going to be.
Well, in 2
I don't know,
years?
I just-
Seriously?
5 grandkids on his knee.
My
Let
God.
me tell you about the time I did the Kessel Run. Under 12 parsecs. What's your name again?
In that piece of junk, Grandpa. What a piece of junk.
Like I'll give it a chance. It looks like a cool sci-fi
It
movie,
looks
but
awesome.
it just
Like
didn't,
for a run, Grandpa.
I just don't have the association that a lot of people do.
So
for
maybe you'll see it, but it's more of a matinee and not so much a director's suite at the Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
But I know a lot of people that are very excited for it. So
Yeah, I'm actually going to get in trouble if anyone I know listens to this podcast because they're going to think, hey, you lied. I haven't read it. I'm sorry.
You said
it could be awesome.
the book that everyone was required to read in middle school or whatever. I want a Hatchet movie.
Oh,
Dude,
Yeah.
when is that gonna happen? Like,
Survivor.
I want to see a kid cut open a moose and eat its hot guts.
That's how
Yeah.
Survivor should be.
And it's
The
funny,
TV
that's a
show.
book I hadn't thought about since I heard somebody talking about it recently.
Since I heard John mention it.
Well, but kind of
Just
this whole
now.
Ender's
Just
Game
now.
thing reminds me of what was that really funny book with the guy who played in The Office, the British version of The Office. He did an adaptation.
Ricky
Martin,
Gervais.
Yes,
Martin Freeman?
yes, he did an
Oh,
adaptation.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Hitchhiker's Guide to
Oh,
the Galaxy,
yeah.
which came out like what? It's been 8 years now.
I wanna see
We're
that.
finally
That is the
adapt-
Sam
again,
Rockwell movie I
another
like.
book that was
Oh, yeah.
in middle schools and high schools, like required reading for
Yeah.
students, and they got adapted to the film. And the first hour of that film was fantastic, and it just goes off the rails so badly.
Well, I mean, I was okay because Zoe Deschanel is my girlfriend, and I'm required to watch every movie that she's in.
John does not approve.
I don't like Zoe.
So you're
Zoe.
not a big
This
New
is
Girl
why
fan?
John and I can't be
No.
friends.
That's okay, man. I mean, you don't have to like her. You just have to accept the fact
So
that
you-
we're together.
So it's
Okay, you
And
can have her.
If you say anything, I want
It's-
to come across the table.
She is yours.
you and Zooey and me and Natalie.
There you go. Well, hey, fist bump for solidarity.
There you go.
The last thing I
I'm
mentioned about
horribly
Iron
lonely.
Man and Ender's Game. Orson Scott Card actually wrote Iron Man in the comic series for
Right.
Ultimate Iron Man, which is pretty solid, actually.
Yeah.
But that's the last thing I'll mention about Orson Scott Card in this game. Jeez, I don't know why I fucking followed it by that. Anyway, have you guys seen the trailer for the film This Is the End? I don't think enough people
Yes.
are talking about it.
The Red Band is awesome, and I
Oh, no,
cannot
no.
wait.
Does this film look
Wait.
fantastic to anybody
There's-
other than
Is
me?
it the?
Yeah, dude, fist bump again.
Yeah, here we go.
I'll share it.
Okay, I'm gonna read
James
the cast
Franco?
off to
Oh
you.
yeah. That's not the one
Okay,
I'm really.
here's the
I'm-
cast, and
I'm
no
still
one's
excited.
talking about this. Isn't even like people's top 10 for the summer,
We
and
should-
no one's talking about it.
Pause. I want to
Seth
watch
Rogen,
Oh.
Evan Goldberg, James Franco, Paul Rudd, Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Emma Watson, Jay Baruchel, Jason Segel, Danny McBride, Craig Robinson,
all the actors.
and just for icing, Rihanna.
Awesome. Hold on one second. We're gonna.
Battleship anyone?
We're
We're gonna
done
show it
naming
to
actors
John.
and
I'm
actresses.
done naming actors.
We're gonna pause it real quick here. John wants to watch the trailers, so we're gonna hit pause.
When I finally see the light, maybe it'll come with peace. A piece of land, some peace of mind, something I can just receive. When I finally meet the gods, will they tell
We're back.
me
I just want to get kind of the initial reaction. John, what do you think?
That looks hysterical, and I mean, there aren't enough meta movies out there, and by not enough, I mean I can't name another one. So yeah, it looks amazing. I'll see it.
Being John Malkovich.
When you talk meta, I'm always back in the TV, like Community. One of my
Mm.
favorite shows. It's one of my favorite show on TV right now. But you really start splitting your audience really small when you go into that type of genre film. But is there anything that looks half that funny this summer coming out?
I mean,
The
very
World's
fact-
End.
Yeah, I
Kill Michael Cera. That's enough for me.
I don't.
Right.
I want to see that
And Rihanna.
probably more, but I don't think it's going to be as funny.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it's going to be funny.
Maybe,
It's a
but
different type of
you
humor.
know, I don't know how you guys felt about Your Highness. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
You and I.
Super, super funny movie. We
But
went
people
down
didn't
to
like it.
Texas. We went and watched it. No one likes it.
No
No
one
one,
likes it
likes
with me.
that movie.
I like that type of humor, but for some reason that one was just kind of.
I felt like James Franco plays such a great straight man that
'Cause
Danny
he's
McBride
stupid.
can be a goof. And
I
you know when they're
love-
jacking off the old like troll dude or
Yoda
like
dude?
the Yoda, or he cuts off the Minotaur's cock and he's just swinging his sword around like.
I do.
Well,
Love Danny
the
McBride.
best guy who had the best lines was the
Courtney the
I was gonna say-
sleight of
I was-
hands.
I was gonna say the wizard, the evil wizard. In that
Oh
film.
right,
He had the jumping. And he was like
fish sticks.
Yeah, he was,
And my girlfriend was also in that movie, so you know
Zoe, of course,
Zoe.
looking lovely as
Oh,
ever.
yeah, damn it.
And your girlfriend was too.
That's true. She was a hero. And
Was.
a
You just gave me
hero
2
in.
reasons not to see it. Now Portman's fine.
Man.
Actually, if I could, I would trade you for Zoe.
Can we swap
See,
sometimes?
but
Wait,
true love,
wait.
I would never trade you.
I was just kidding, Natalie.
See, I thought I was horribly lonely, but now you're gonna be horribly lonely forever.
Yeah,
The podcast audience knows you would just flip. No loyalty.
Two
Only
bridges
for Zoe,
disappeared.
though. You don't have that one girl you'd flip
No.
for?
Zoe is the one girl.
Well,
I've already flipped, sir.
Okay.
Alright. We can go. That's another. Mine is always going to be Monica Bellucci. That's another story another day.
So I'm going to see Great Gatsby this weekend, and I don't even know what I'm going to see.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Man, what time? When are you going?
8:15 on Friday.
I might be available if you're interested in
Tinseltown.
having- if you have a
Yes,
friend.
come.
I'd love to go see it. I'm excited about it. Now, have you seen the original Gatsby?
No, so fill me in. Like, what am I going to see?
So
'Cause
Leonardo
at this point,
DiCaprio
if
gets on this
DiCaprio-
boat.
Is it
Oh, wait.
like after the last 4 movies, everything since Aviator? If he's in it, I'll go see it because he's very, very selective with his roles and he does a really good job. So.
I mean, he's one of the few actors. Like, I hate to beat the cliche when he's done something bad. He's done some okay stuff. He's not done anything bad.
Okay.
in probably 10
I've
years.
liked him since The Beach.
Right.
Did you see Django?
Django's
Oh
fantastic.
God.
I
like
was
Django?
not a fan
No,
of
no,
Shutter
like-
Island, but that was less
That-
about Leo and
yeah.
more about
The
the
script.
story
I
and the
love that.
I mean,
I
it's
would
not a
agree with
bad
that.
film, but
right.
it's just it was weird having him do a cerebral false reality film right next to Inception,
Right.
back to back.
Well,
You could
what was
almost say they're the same
the
universe.
Yeah,
the mobster movie, the
Departed.
Departed?
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
great
That's-
Leo movie.
That's in my top
I am
One
not
of
a
the-
Ten.
cop.
Yeah,
10 movies.
One of the
For
best.
sure.
Oh.
Of all time.
But anyway, Gatsby, like, because after seeing Django, and there's like a split second where you see him angry in the trailer for Gatsby, and I was like, sold.
well,
So-
it looks good. I mean,
Oh.
and you got Tobey Maguire. I mean,
Spider-Man.
forgive me, playing to his strengths. He's never like the lead, handsome charmer. He's not. That's not how
He's
he
a
works.
sidekick.
He's
What
the
was-
sidekick, and he plays the naivete type of character, the neighbor character from the Gatsby original Robert Redford film. He plays that really well, I would think.
Mhm.
And DiCaprio can do anything. He looked for a pretty boy actor in the 80s
or
and
anyone.
90s. He can do anything, and I'd like to see how he takes this. Baz Luhrmann, last time he did a film that compelled me this much, really. When I was a kid and I saw the Romeo and Juliet film that he remade in a hardcore, cross-cutting 90s style. Baz Luhrmann's films can go from anywhere terrible, you can talk like Moulin Rouge, which I'm not a fan of, or to the really compelling and edgy and interesting where you have Romeo and Juliet and stuff like that. It's interesting Jack White and Jay-Z collaborate on the soundtrack. I mean, that's enough
So-
reason for me to see the film out of
What?
curiosity. Yeah.
This is
What?
really going to show my
Oh.
stupidity. But who wrote The Gatsby?
The
F.
original
Scott
novel,
Fitzgerald? Was it?
Is that
Yeah, I think
Fitzgerald?
so.
Yeah, I think sounds
so.
right.
That sounds
I just remember the Redford films when I was a kid. My mom adored that film, so it was something I got exposed to in my classical film
I
history.
had to read it in high school.
You
It's a
read
better
in high
movie.
school?
In my
It was written by. I know the film was written by Coppola.
Yeah,
I think
audio
Francis Ford
books.
Coppola,
It was.
but I guess Fitzgerald. That sounds right.
I believe it is.
But I'd love to see this new film. That looks fantastic to me. I mean, and it's cool because like usually with a film like Iron Man, like we had last week, and they counter program it. They put some sort of wedding film out, or they put Katherine Heigl in a film just to get the fucking female audience in there. But Iron Man caters to both male and female audiences. They didn't even counter program it, so they put Gatsby in between. You've got Iron Man over here and Star Trek over there, so Gatsby right in between. They're hoping to pull that cross demographic again, and I'd love to see a film that is intelligent and well written and well acted and well performed.
So you haven't seen or read or know anything about
I'm going
this
in
at all?
blind.
That's a great way to go
Really?
in. Though.
What do you
It
think
will
it's
come out
about?
well.
I'm kind of interested to see what you think it's about.
A rich, eccentric playboy in the 20s.
So it's about Iron Man.
Yes!
You're off to a good start. You're off to a good start.
I mean, that's all you get from the trailers.
Yeah.
So.
Is
Okay.
that all that it's about?
There's a mystery.
So-
You get that from the trailers. I'm kind of interested to see, like, you know, how, like, get your comparison, you know, to see, like, what you think after about kind of where it came in.
There's a Toby.
There is a Toby
Have you seen Brothers with Tobey Maguire?
No, I
with
have
Jake
not.
Gyllenhaal and Toby Maguire,
That's a good movie.
who
So-
look
I've
almost
seen that.
identical.
Yeah, well,
That's
Jake,
Brothers.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Maggie's younger
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, I just called him Gyllenhaal.
Wasn't
but
he up
correct
for
him, some OG
Spider-Man at one
There
time?
was a miscommunique in which Spider-Man 2, Toby had hurt his back, and Kirsten Dunst was dating Jake Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal
Thank you.
was dating Jake G. Or Tobey Maguire 2, as we can call him. He's from Tobey Maguire from Earth 2.
Yes.
So she's dating him, and talked to Sam Raimi about the possibility of bringing Jake in because Toby was hurt. Toby's agent was trying to hold out for more money, and so that's where that all kind of came through because their agents were doing all the talking and they weren't. So then Jake got signed up for a screen test, freaked Toby out, and then Toby called Sam and then worked it out.
Yep.
Okay, because they're in the real life world.
Earth Prime.
In Earth Prime.
That's this world.
They're
We're
like
getting
really.
nerdy. Oh god, we're getting nerdy.
Yeah,
DC
so,
multi
anyway,
universes or Marvel.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah,
Marvel
somebody's-
6 was it 612?
612 or 61.
I'm
Yeah,
getting
it's
so
Alan Moore
tired
history.
of parallel universe anything.
So you weren't around for Sliders?
Oh, Jerry O'Connell, the chubby kid from Stand by
Jerry,
Me.
yeah, Jerry
O'Connor.
McConnell or
McConnell.
O'Connell.
O'Connell.
Jerry
It's
O'Connell.
like instead of calling Star Trek a reboot, they're like, "Oh no, this is happening in the
It's
same."
an alternate
What if-
timeline.
what if-
Oh,
was an
just let it
alternate-
be rebooted.
What if it was an alternate universe where Sliders was about burgers?
yeah.
A show about fast food.
I think that it was actually Harold and Kumar go to
Go to
White
White
Castle.
Castle.
Yeah, that was
Oh
that was
god.
actually it.
But they didn't have as much of John Rhys Davies.
No, it just had Neil Patrick Harris instead,
Yeah, exactly. Which is a pretty fair trade.
which is all you need.
Yes.
I know that Great Gatsby looks awesome, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Then comparing it to the Redford version, I feel like Redford was awesome when he was younger, and maybe the last movie I watched with him in it that I liked, was
Jeremiah Johnson.
classic,
Go.
really long, was
My-
The Last Castle,
Which is awesome.
and I guess I'll tie it to
Gandalf
Spy
maybe?
Games. Yeah, Spy Game was awesome. Or Spy
Brad
Games
Pitt
was
film.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't age well. It's the grooves in the skin,
But
but
he
like
got
Mark
the age.
Hamill.
He went past the point where he should be playing the Yoda character.
Mark
You
had
should
that
stick to voice acting.
accident.
Yeah, he was horribly
Yeah.
disfigured after the first Star Wars
But
movie.
you know, it's
I like how he looks in Jedi though,
Yeah.
because he looks all like
grizzled.
But
yeah,
that
and older.
Yeah.
Well, but he had an illustrious career as the Joker after that,
That's
so
true.
we're good.
That's
But
brilliant.
I am looking forward to Star Trek. Into
Oh my
Darkness,
God, yeah.
Which is where I will be next Wednesday to sneak peek.
I
Very
should've
we
excited.
got
those
early tickets.
I
That's
should've
brilliant.
Early
had-
tickets. Fandango may still have
They
some.
had some. I'm kind
It's
of broke
IMAX
until
only,
Friday.
but I am just so
We-
excited.
We should. Well, if I get to see that. we
I
should
just
talk
remember
about
watching
that.
the reboot, the JJ
Oh,
reboot,
It was so
and
good.
and sitting in the theater going, "Holy shit! This is what a sci-fi movie's like."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more Star Wars than Star Trek.
It was and it wasn't. Like it was all the good things that Star Wars should have been when they came out
Character
with the
over
new ones.
technology.
Character over
speaking of
technology.
something like that.
And the
I've
sound design
started
was
watching Battlestar Galactica. And
Oh.
yeah.
Wait, the original or the reboot?
Whatever is
This
on
is my
Netflix.
chance to get a
The
better beer.
Okay, the reboot, yeah,
Anybody?
Yeah.
with the Cylons that are all cool now.
I guess
Keys to My Heart. I love that show so much.
it's like it feels like Firefly, but in a good way.
One of
as
the
far
things,
as quality goes,
season 1
it's
and season
charming.
2 actually try to set up allegories for modern or contemporary living problems like occupation of foreign countries and abortion and that kind of stuff. And they tell these allegories in really clever ways that aren't heavy-handed or preachy. Which I thought was a remarkable thing. By the time it gets to season 4, it lost a lot of people. It gets really, really metaphorical in terms of being a religious type story, which is a lot of fun, but it lost a lot of its audience. I'm really excited to see how you finish that show.
I mean, I've just started. I'm like 5 episodes in.
Oh, you got so far to go.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even get good until season 2.
It's a journey.
Well, I like it already.
It's like being human. It didn't get good until it came to America.
And I would say that literally
You
from
just-
beginning to end, wasn't it? Was it Mark? What was the guy who wrote that series? He was one of the Lost alums. He's the anti-Abrams, like in the respect that he knew what the ending was really going to be. He really does know. And I would say that while the ending turned a lot of people off, it doesn't leave plot threads hanging. It really resolves the story.
The thing I want to know most, and nobody dare to tell me.
I wouldn't dare.
But
I wouldn't root for it. Not even close.
if it's if it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, or if it's like in the future and we've forgotten about Earth, because their lore and stuff, they talk about like.
Is this Earth Prime?
Goddamn.
It's
Yes.
Earth like 63 actually.
Because they talk about like what the lords of Cobalt, and they're all Greek gods or Roman, like Apollo and whatever. So
I won't tell you anything about how these god figures stand in the series. I won't ruin any of that stuff for you. I would say.
Oh, I just mean how they came. Like, am I supposed to just say those? Oh, don't tell me. But the questions I'm asking are like, are those names just coincidental, or are they old remnants of Earth lore? And so, yeah, that
I can't wait for you
Great
to finish
show.
it.
Yeah,
I would say from 1 to 4. My wife is not a huge sci-fi fan. She enjoyed Firefly. I mean, who the hell doesn't if you have no soul? I'm not your friend.
that's right.
I won't name names, but there are people.
I feel
That
bad for
don't
them.
like Firefly.
I know.
Anybody I know?
No,
Okay.
You don't need to know, apparently.
you don't.
But I would say from beginning to end, it is the most cohesive story. The fact that they were able to pull that show together from beginning to end, the way they actually planned it, is pretty remarkable. I
Good to
like
know.
Lost. They weren't trying to prolong the story past its point, and there's no point where it's like, we're going to add entire new characters just to fucking stretch the story out. It never happened. It's just a really cool story, and it's really cool to see a lot of the supernatural guys pop up in that series over and over again. And they must have the same agents because there's so many supernatural actors, or vice versa, Battlestar actors and supernatural.
Yeah, actually, that kind of leads me into asking, like, are we still in movies, or have we segued into television?
We're going right into to visual media now. We've gone to
Whatever you
comic
want.
films,
When
movies
we,
now. TV shows. Is that?
TV.
I have something TV related. Are we done with Battlestar? Are you guys still?
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, we're on. No, we're on.
'Cause that's
Okay,
super nerdy.
all right.
Now, but it's
Well,
good.
here's a show that I like, and as you mentioned previously, before we started recording, The Venture Brothers.
Ventura Brothers.
Ventura Brothers. So this is one of my favorite shows.
Classy.
How do you say Ra's al Ghul again?
Raish. Denny O'Neil said it's Raish.
God damn you. Are you fucking kidding me? You know who Denny O'Neil is. Of course you do.
Invented the guy.
I
know,
think
but
Eric has a crush.
That's been 60 years almost, right? Or 40
I'm
years.
just saying. The greats never die.
So the Venture Brothers. So yeah, they're on season. Well, okay, let me start over. I've been catching up on my Venture Brothers. I was a big fan. It started out in like 2004, I think, but they've put out
Has it been that
seasons.
long?
The first season came out in 2004.
Wow. Flew by.
It's been kind of sporadic though. I know season 4 came out in 2 parts. So like season 4 came out in 2009 and 2010.
They had interns finish it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Really?
I
It was
didn't
kind of awesome.
I didn't know about this, but I just caught up with season 4 finally. For some reason, I had stopped watching it after season 3.
3 was fun, but there's a big gap between the production of those two seasons.
And now 3 years have passed, and season 5 is coming out. The first episode is premiering June 2nd.
What a gap.
And
Big time frame.
so I'm caught up on them. And if you haven't seen that show, you should watch it. It's one of my favorite shows. But I also, since I've been back on this Venture Brother kick, I started like visiting the blogs and the community and the website. And if you haven't checked out their website, you should go there. But apparently what they did during season 3 is for every episode that they would premiere for that week that they premiered the episode, they would have a shirt for that week that you could buy. And so for every episode, every time that a new episode would air, you would have a week to get this limited edition, awesome screen printed T-shirt. And I'm hoping that they're going to do that with this new season because these shirts are awesome, and I need some new T-shirts. I've gained some weight since last year, and my T-shirts no longer fit. Or
You're
I've shrank
really
them
doing
all.
what you can to prevent getting laid at any
So-
point. Like at all aspects.
Right.
Nerd, getting fatter.
I haven't
living
shaved
Mustang.
in over a month.
I need women as far away from me as I can possibly go.
So, thank you for that, Eric. But yeah, so
You've got his vote of confidence.
yeah, Venture Brothers, check that shit out. I know
It is really good.
Ladies.
it's very,
Yeah,
ladies, I'm single.
Let's podcast about this shit.
That's,
Oh, wait.
that's 2
I think
ponies.
this
Take
photo,
these
the
out
next
to
40
go.
years of sex are just gone.
So
I
yeah,
can't
you're
wait for
basically
my-
like Dr. Venture now.
Pretty well.
Let's
Yeah,
start calling
he
you
is.
Rusty.
That's
Rusty
Rusty
Powell.
actually
Venture.
that's not. I hate to admit it. I like to think that I'm Hank or Brock, but I'm probably more like Rusty.
He's cynical and dark.
My favorite character is
pale.
Colonel Gentleman, though.
Is he the one with the
Dr.
the
Girlfriend's
patch?
awesome.
Does
too.
he kind of turn into the Hulk?
No. Colonel Gentleman is the Sean Connery character from the original Team Venture.
Oh,
Dr. Jonas Venture's
Right.
sidekick, and
okay.
he makes that list of the Scooby-Doo monster game.
I forgot about him. I haven't seen season one.
That season
in a
one's
while.
so good.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I actually, for our Christmas party, super sidetrack. Every year we throw this crazy kind of Christmas sweater party, and last year we did a Comic-Con theme, and so you had to dress up as a Comic-Con, either a cosplayer or a ultimate fan, but have Christmas twist. Wes actually came as Captain Hammer.
That's true.
From Joss Whedon's
Thank
Dr.
you.
Horrible, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was pushing really hard to have a very Venture Christmas. So I wanted to have the Krampus and that 60s kind of Johnny Quest, over the top games and all the modern furniture.
This year.
But I just couldn't get enough people on board with the idea of Venture because it's such a.
You're getting that's
niche.
Obscure Adult Swim.
Is it niche
super.
or is it niche?
I don't know.
Do we want to go there? I always say niche, but I just want to do it.
Well, I mean, it is Oklahoma.
That's true. Niche. Here's some niche, man.
It's Nike.
Naichi.
Yeah.
So we're about an hour in. Do we want to take a break?
I think now's as good a time to take a break as any. So let's go ahead and call it a break. Want to bump us out, John?
Break!
We're going to jump right into Arrow real
Just
quick.
go whenever you're ready
Sean
to
has
start.
some great comments on the show Arrow.
So,
are we back?
are we
We're
back?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I guess
we're
now
back.
that we're back, I just want to confess that I have been watching the Arrow show on CW, and it's terrible, but I love it. I said it. I'm sorry.
I kind of want to see it. Is
Dude.
it on Hulu?
It is not. I don't know. I use
it's
Amazon
on
Prime.
the CW website.
Yeah,
Oh,
Probably Hulu
season?
too.
first.
They did week to week. So probably the last 4 episodes from week to week. It's like all the CW.
Is it on
shows.
season 2?
No,
First season.
they got renewed though. I mean, it's getting
It's been
great
killing it
ratings.
in ratings. It's like the highest rated new show on CW this
Yeah,
season.
but I mean, they're hungry for comic book anything right now.
hardcore audience, they'll follow you the shithole back. So.
Oh, and I'm there. I'm knee deep in it. I'm scooping it out because the 3 shows that
Shove
I'm
it in
really
your mouth.
passionate about. It's all over my mouth. I can smell it to my nose. The 3 shows I'm super passionate about are Sons of Anarchy when that's on because
Charlie Hunnam.
Hunnam's awesome.
Yep.
And honestly, I hated Ron Pearl before I watched that show, but he's amazing.
He's
Oh,
really
There's a
boy.
Hunan garden across from
He's
my house.
amazing.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Delicious
He's good.
Chinese food.
Game of Thrones, which
Yeah,
I
I've been
totally-
watching that.
yeah,
That
totally
show's
been loving that.
so good.
And weirdly, Being Human has dropped in the rankings so that I can watch Arrow every week. But I love Being Human. I love the American version, I should say. I love what Sci-Fi's doing with it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you guys are watching any of that.
I've
watching
watched
Game of
the
Thrones.
first episode of Arrow.
Culture.
Game of Thrones, you guys love it. I'm watching Community. I'm watching Supernatural season 8.
Oh, you got a heavy plate then, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not caught up on. I think the last season that they have on Netflix, I have
7,
not watched yet.
Probably 7.
I'm kind of losing interest in Supernatural.
Well, season 7 treads a lot of the same themes over and over again. Season 8 is sort of like season 5. We're like, new story, new direction, let's go. They relaunched the show pretty much.
Okay,
I'm like
it
10
needed to
episodes
be if
in.
it was going to keep on.
Well, the
going.
show's gone too long. I've not seen a show that has not gone terrible, but it's not as good as it was in the first 5 seasons.
What was that?
It
What was
can't.
that, John?
I'm like 10 episodes in on Supernatural. You're telling me there's 8 seasons?
No, that. Do you like what you're
The
watching?
first season's not that great, though.
It's
It was-
like
I liked
it's like
it.
Tales from the Crypt. It's just little
Kinda,
like
yeah.
half an
Yeah.
hour silly
But
horror story.
they-
It's
it
like
has-
pulp. It's like
Yeah.
pulp.
It's
Very
all
pulpy.
epic or what?
It's
EC
fun.
Comics.
It's a lot of
You
fun.
can
It's
just you
fun.
can eat a little bite-sized chunk and then move on to next week.
I
and
didn't
not
know you were
care.
watching that. I'm glad to, like, I like the show. I got so far into it, and then when they put out the last season on Netflix, something in
Take
me.
a break. Take
Yeah.
a break. Come back to it.
But
That's what I
not
did.
the thing is, I have such a bad memory. I'm gonna have to start over.
No.
Like I'll remember most of it, but like if I watch season 8, there's gonna be so much that I've forgotten.
Nah.
I had to
Season eight's a
get
good
Walking
jumping-on
Dead
point.
this season.
I'm still not caught up on it.
I'm not either. Like I got halfway through my Amazon whatever, and then I quit watching, and then I had to go back and start over.
Season 3 started out great.
Amazon.
Started off great, and I feel like I'm one of the only people that believes that
No,
it got worse
it did
because I
get
felt
worse.
like it got worse.
I think Andrea.
Ugh.
But enough about that.
If it's in season 8, I don't know. You could spoil away. I don't
No,
know.
no,
no,
Walking
no, no,
Dead.
no.
No.
Characters die, and then
Oh,
they come back to life, but then they die.
Wait, are we talking about Supernatural or Walking Dead? I'm
Both.
confused.
The
Okay.
Walking
Is
Supernatural.
Andrea's
Dead.
girlfriend that
That's a good
lit
show.
up fire in the ceiling and
That's
whatever?
true.
Who am I thinking of?
No, we were talking about the Walking
We're mixing
Dead.
Walking Dead and Supernatural.
Oh.
Now. There we go. We're going.
We're confusing the
Oh.
audience.
Well, speaking of TV,
Let's dig into some reader mail.
Oh, read them out, Jesus. Speaking of TV, I know you guys are not as big as sports fans as I am, but have you guys been keeping up with the playoffs? I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing a great job right now. Peter
absolutely,
Perkins has not been
Eric.
keeping
I-
the lane as well against Zach Randolph as well as he should be. But
Absolutely.
the most exciting basketball is actually happening in Golden State series right now. They're playing the
Is
hell
that
out of the
right?
games. Yeah, the Spurs are just shooting.
I have been
lights out.
enjoying topical events on television that are sports
So
related.
since you're interested in this, I mean, have you watched Steph Curry against the Manu Ginobili's type Tony Parker defense? What do you think of the situation with these two guys?
Is that from The Godfather?
Okay, Wesley Dean.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
Kevin Durant's been scoring. He almost scored his first postseason triple-double last night against the Grizzlies. They still lost. I mean, he's been fulfilling the role of a point guard / forward.
Oh yeah, he's the best point guard in the business for sure.
Well, that's not his typical role, though. How do you think he's filled in since Russell Westbrook went out?
Oh, his defense is amazing. The way he handles that ball is just spectacular. I've never seen a better ball handler.
What's a triple double?
Well, triple doubles when
Score
you
hoop
get
points
you get
with
double
that
digits
ball.
in points, double digits in rebounds, and double digits in assists.
Oh, I thought that was when a fat kid went to McDonald's and got like 3 double cheeseburgers.
Well,
I'm not saying I'm speaking from experience.
with the early
Oh,
exit of the
double.
Clippers from the playoffs, they got knocked out by the Memphis Grizzlies. You know, we got guys like Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol, who are not big scorers, but big defenders. Have you been impressed with the way the Grizzlies have carried on in the second round of the playoffs?
I think they're doing the best they can, Eric.
I agree. The best they can do with what they have. And from what I hear, they have small.
They've got a lot of
wings.
drive. I heard that they are really passionate fans that are loud and stuff. The FedEx Forum is way cooler than our
Do they allow-
Thunderdome.
I really
Zealand's
love
at
their
basketball
jerseys.
games.
The way they flap around in the wind.
I love how their bears are really fierce. They really maul the ball.
Wes,
They really can grit and bear it.
So needless to say, I think I'm probably the only sports fan in the room. Here's a more general sports question. What sport am I talking about?
Basketball.
Basketball.
I can't believe you would even
How
ask
many
me.
how many players are on the floor on each team?
32.
16.
32,
5.
Eric.
5 for each team?
I don't know.
No, I meant for the whole game.
Me too.
The
Wait,
whole
there's
32.
There's a sixth man somewhere, but
Are we
I don't know
counting
if that's a
cheerleaders?
thing with Texas or what.
Okay. How many quarters are there in a game?
4
Are we talking?
Four.
Are we
That's
talking
math.
cents?
quarters.
That's math. We're good. 4. We're safe.
Quarters.
Okay.
That's 25.
How many,
that's-
how many minutes are in each quarter?
45. 20.
25, Bob. 25.
That's not your final answer.
4.
1.
15.
26.
15.
Wait, 25 because it's 100, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I was right the first time. I don't understand why he's laughing.
I feel like we are officially like being rebuked, or like
I want to go on a sports podcast and be one guy who knows comics.
right? Be like, so how many Green Lanterns have there ever been, guy? And that's not a hint, buddy.
How many colors of lanterns are there?
There's green, there's indigo,
What
there's
does green-
red, there's
Black. There are black lanterns.
white,
You got the red lanterns. You got the
got
black
yellow
lanterns.
and orange. I guess
Black
indigo is
isn't a
violet.
color, okay?
Okay.
Blue.
What? What is the best basketball player in the league?
Michael Jordan.
That is correct. How many baskets?
That's the Justice League and the League of Basketball, by the way.
Michael Jordan is officially
He transcends
a superhero.
universes
Right.
and
He was
cartoon
in that
universes.
Sports
He
All
can't
Stars,
fly.
the cartoon.
The Space Jam.
Oh no, he was also in that. But there was a
I've seen that
cartoon
man's
with Bo
arms
Jackson.
stretched like 30 feet.
Right, he's like Mr. Fantastic.
There was a cartoon, All Star Sports or something, with Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, and
Bo
Bo
Jackson.
Jackson. I forget what it's
Bo
called.
knows, motherfuckers.
Bo knows sports.
Bo knows a lot of
So
things.
your extent of sports knowledge is an 80s cartoon meant to promote the sale of sports memorabilia.
It works.
Yes,
I had a
sir.
starter jacket.
Fucking A.
What team was on your starter jacket?
I don't
The
remember.
Monstars.
It was gold and black, and maybe it was somebody. It was like a fleur de lis. I don't remember.
That
who it
sounds
is.
like the Montgomery Pirates. I would say the Montgomery Pirates. It's a real team.
Maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely is.
I
The
tell you right
Neverland
now,
Pirates?
if somebody's listening to this right now that's like no sports, they're like just shitting blood. Like they're in their car, blood is covering the seat, and they're just like just angrily. It's explosive. It's just all over the upholstery. The girlfriend's like, see, that they don't know either. And the dude's just like, and he's just like, it's coming out of his ears, his eyes. We can talk about Doctor Who. I know everything about that.
I have tears.
Let's talk about Time Lords. Quidditch. I can go through the mean game of Quidditch.
I think that probably ends our sports segment. Or we could go on to
Basketball.
Quidditch.
Calvin Ball.
Calvin Ball's even better. Dodgeball.
Actually, I would start a dodgeball league if any of you are interested. We can talk about that
I already
later.
did that.
Call us at, what's our email address? We can't call an email address.
So we back when the dodgeball movie came out, we started a
So your
dodgeball
knowledge
league.
of sports is based on Vince Vaughn.
Absolutely. Well, actually,
you
we
can dodge
based
your,
it
if
more
you
on
can dodge
Ben
your
Stiller.
wrench, you can dodge a
The
ball.
ball. And I was the GM of the team because I'm not very athletic, and I have a hard time like making the ball go where I want it to.
It's called throwing.
Throwing the underhanded toss doesn't really work in dodgeball,
This ain't softball, Bessie.
and so I wore like these really small like soccer shorts that were like from like the junior league or whatever that were like red. I couldn't actually take them off, so I had to buy them. And then we had the jersey on, and I had like knee-high red socks.
You're still wearing them right now.
I'm still wearing them 12 years later. They're still on.
Could somebody cut the seam, please?
And so I took a clipboard, and we got these white Velcro shoes, and we like painted them all up and everything, and they played dodgeball, and I called my team all sorts of names, like I didn't
Like derogatory names, like Nancy.
both derogatory and fake. Like I acted like I didn't know their names. I was throwing my clipboard out and like pulling them out of the game and putting other people
It's,
in.
real,
like
it's really
parents.
fun for me to call guys by girls' names,
Right.
like Nancy and Susie and Jeanette.
We lost. We lost the game. I'm not sure if it's because I got ejected and then they did too because I was still screaming in the lobby, or if they were just tired of looking at my pasty white thighs. But
Just let us leave.
we went to TGI Fridays afterwards. It was all good.
celebratory macaroni balls.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Those balls
Guys,
always go where I put them.
It's not about winning.
Which is in your mouth.
Goddamn.
I don't know what you do with balls, but that's crazy.
Don't go
Meatballs.
Meatballs, that's true.
They're so good.
That's a spicy
once they
meatball.
get in your mouth, the taste is so.
Oh,
This
God.
is-
We've gone off
Sports.
the rails wonderfully. We haven't even gotten to video games
Oh, God.
yet.
Did you guys do your homework?
We did
Well,
our
we should talk
homework.
about that. Yes.
Yeah, because you said your ethics were questionable, or at least I'm assuming they were in Papers, Please.
Why don't you tell the
Okay.
listeners what Papers, Please is?
Okay, Papers, Please, since I actually played it now, is it's this free game on Steam. It's a green light project, but it's very Super Nintendo looking. You're this guy who works on the border, like checking passports for this like fictional Russian sort of country, and all you do is someone comes up, they show you their passport, you cross-reference like the picture with do they look like that, has it expired, like on some days if you're not from that country you're not allowed in, so you check their passport, you either approve it or deny it, and
What's funny about this description of the game is it is 100% accurate. This is somebody's job. We're like,
Exactly.
You make a fucking game out of this? Are you out of your mind?
What is this, like a TSA training simulation?
Basically.
It feels like
And-
it.
Do you get like
and-
X-ray
but-
machine
but the-
DLC or?
And the funny
best
thing is,
part-
you actually get threatened from time to time,
Yeah.
and you're made to feel miserable as a game.
you don't get paid.
Wow.
You don't get paid unless people come through the border. But you have very little time to check someone's
Mhm.
passport because the clock's going really fast. It's like a second is like a couple minutes.
So
So you're trying to get people through as quickly as possible, but you have to be accurate about it because if you let someone through whose information didn't check out, you get docked like $5 and you get paid like 10 for every time someone goes through.
So-
Do they have to take off their shoes and stuff, or like
No.
No.
you get extra points for like ripping the shoe off?
But like, so you go home at the end of the workday and it's like you have to pay these bills, this. Your wife, your son,
Oh my
your
God.
this game
uncle,
is crazy.
and your grandmother.
What's the name of this
live with
fictional
you.
communist countries like Kazakhstan? Or Astrakstan.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
Astrakstan.
Yes.
It's not a stan. It's a.
Astrastoria.
Astrakstan.
Fujimoto.
Anyway, it was some fictional communist country.
Is this free?
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
It's a Steam world.
Check it
Oh
out.
my god!
Papers,
I love
please.
Steam.
Amazing.
That's
Yeah.
been
But like, you'll have to decide what do you want to budget. Like, do we want to pay for heating today, or do we want to pay for food? So like, currently my son is sick,
Oh.
and it's like, your family is cold
So
and
it's
hungry.
mixing
Your son.
communist Russia with
the Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
And you'll come up with these. So you're like, okay, I need at least $10 more made tomorrow in order to pay for everything and get my son some medicine. So like the next day, I'll roll around and they'll throw a couple at you. Like the first person comes through and she's like, "My husband's coming through after me. We're moving to this country. We're so happily married." And he comes through and his passport doesn't check out. So you have to make the decision of let him through and get penalized, or separate this couple forever. And I did because I was like, if I let you through, I'm gonna get.
I need $10 more.
Right. Well, I'm gonna
Right.
get 5 docked, and she's like, "You've ruined my life. Go to hell."
Yeah.
It just makes you feel terrible.
It has this little, I even call it 8-bit graphic of this old woman with like a shroud on. She's like, it was a mistake to open this station.
I
And she'll
think-
just walk away.
This
Yeah.
is truly going to show how cynical I am. Well, first of all, there is way too much reading.
It's
so
too
what
long
I-
to read.
What I would do is whenever
Not
they would
fucking
come
either.
up to get their passport checked, if they wouldn't bitch, I would just approve them. And so
Much like the TSA.
that's really how it is. Like I was like, this is a
Odds
real life.
are-
This is a simulator of real life. I'm gonna do it how I would do it. So
But then terrorists make it through.
no, that's true. I had one guy that went through and just started shooting people. Like I got several citations,
Mhm.
and then
Are there high scores in this, or like is it
I
a
don't
level-based
understand
thing?
exactly how it works, but
I want to
I
know who has the most money right now.
I had like $12. I didn't have enough to
Oh.
buy my kid medicine, which I was going to go for the heat anyway.
Igor's gonna die. How much money do you have, John?
Like $5.
Oh
I
wow.
walked up, it was about $10. I was pretty proud of that.
So, but what we're learning here is that if you play by the rules, you're fucked.
Yeah.
All right, so Wes, valuable life lesson.
I may have got fired.
Oh, you can get fired?
Well,
Is there a hunting mode where you got in the street and mug people?
I kept
like
getting
Oregon Trail style?
citations and then I
think so.
quit.
Oh,
Well,
that's
it's
the
sort
same
of
thing.
funny. It's like this game, and it sounds like if I were to describe this game to a person who's a non-gamer, they'd be like, "This is the worst idea for a game."
It's
ever.
very
This is
stressful.
my job.
I
And
think
it's
all three
stressful.
of us call it stressful.
And what's
That was
funny
the
is,
first
like,
word.
The game itself is so goddamn serious and dire. It's comical.
But then that one guy comes through and he's like, I come to country. I love this country. And you're like,
Uh.
you need a passport. And he's like, oh, I come back with passport tomorrow. And he comes back and it's this
Long live
crudely,
Right.
it's this crudely drawn cartoon passport. And you're like,
Sure.
and you deny it. And he's like, oh, okay, I come back with better passport.
And what's funny is he's doing exactly what I hear in my head, and there's no speech in this game.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, you know, the funny thing is, you're talking about this game, and it sounds really miserable, but
It is so miserable.
allow me to describe another game that maybe millions and millions of people enjoy.
Go. I'd love to hear your description. I'll guess what the game is.
Every day, you turn the game on, you go out to the middle of nowhere,
Animal Crossing.
and you dig in the dirt until you find something worthwhile. Then you trudge all the way back
Minecraft.
home, melt it, turn it into something else, then hope it sells and end up with something that doesn't sell, and you have an inventory full of crap, and then you're just stressed the whole time.
Minecraft.
Why would you play that?
I was going to say World of Warcraft.
World of
but
Warcraft
that
or
works
Eve.
too. Or Eve, or
Anything
anything.
that
I mean,
has-
those are supposed to be like these fantasy games, but it
I want to do
turns
something
into a
that breaks
job.
away from my monotony of my life. Monotony for a game.
Yeah, but honestly, like being a border
These
patrol
graphics are
agent-
awesome.
This is like, you don't have the glory of being a despot in some sort of horrible country. No, you're actually the peon. Was it Section 8 housing is what you live in?
You're
Yeah,
like nobody.
You're no one.
I was kind of hoping that my kid would die, so I would be able to get
One
more
less
money
mouth to
for
feed,
myself. Right.
Right. For you, it's a stat. You're like, you see that blinking light, and you're like, go off. Just hit zero, please.
But the game was fun. It's like, wouldn't this be great as a portable experience? I was talking to Wes about this being a
that'd
video
be
game.
perfect.
It'd be so great.
Or an iPhone game.
I know, but I don't play that.
Well,
Yeah,
you
but I would
got to
sit in a
swipe
waiting
like
room.
really. Well, I guess that's all it's involved is swiping and hitting a button.
It's mouse based. You could totally it translates perfectly to an
Yeah.
iOS, especially on an iPad.
You
'cause
could
got
The
tap.
most annoying part is whenever you have to cross-reference things. Like there'll be a rule for the day, like they have to have both a passport and a work visa, and like if they don't have one or the other, you'll have to pull up your rule book
You
and
gotta
then
hurry.
you like click on that rule, and then you click on the passport, and it like links the two, and it says violation or whatever, and then you interrogate them. But like, yeah, you got to make it snappy.
So you're telling me this is why Argo was able to work.
Yes.
Okay, all
Let's
right.
change the ending of Argo a little bit from what I hear. Yeah, but that game was fun. I really liked it. Were there any other video game experiences this week? You guys had something to mention about the news.
I wanted to talk about Fuse a little bit. Not a whole lot, but
because we're Insomniac fans. You and I, Wes.
I am an Insomniac fan.
Yeah,
Did you say we're not?
we are.
Oh,
I am.
okay,
I am
yeah.
an Insomniac fan.
So
I'm
Insomniac.
not as big of a Ratchet fan as you, but I mean, the Resistance games were solid, and they make really solid games every time they go out the door. I remember playing Disruptor on the PlayStation 1 when I was a kid.
Right.
Ratchet was a solid franchise.
Fantastic. It's not been a bad game in that series yet.
I
But
came
haven't-
on
I haven't
to
had PS3 in
I came on to the Ratchet
years.
games a little late. The first one I played was a cracking time,
Mhm.
and I went back and played all the older ones. Like I love the franchise. I love those games. I'm also, speaking of Ratchet, they're making a movie.
A movie, weird story.
I think that's awesome because if you've played any of the newer ones, the cutscenes look like Pixar movies. I'm not.
Does this mean the guys from Creature Box are going to be doing the movie too?
I don't know if they're involved. I'm sure they'll be involved some.
I mean, I know they work at Insomniac, but
I'm sure they'll be doing promotional stuff and probably
that'll be hot.
credits and that sort of thing. But the movie's not set to release until 2015. But I'm really excited for it. But Fuse is a new IP by the guys that did Ratchet and all these games, Resistance and Disruptor, and it's going to be on both Xbox and PlayStation.
If you like Borderlands, you'll like this a lot less.
Is that how it looks? Because
No, it's not
That's-
even goofy like
okay.
Borderlands. It looks like they reskinned Tomb Raider.
I don't.
But as
I
a
don't-
multiplayer, it might be fun, right? As a 4-player
Okay.
team.
The whole jumping in and
I
out
played-
any time thing. I mean,
Is that the way it's set up? Multiplayer premise?
yeah,
Something
but it's like their AI, they're computer controlled until someone decides to just jump in.
So it's very, again, let's talk about the whole gauntlet idea. You drop your quarter in, you grab a joystick, and you go. I like that kind of gameplay.
It looks like it's going to be a lot more fun playing with somebody. Like somebody.
I
It's
would
like
never
if the
play
four
it
of us
alone.
got on a team
Yeah.
and we played Fuse right now,
That'd
we'd
be
have a
fun.
blast.
That would be fun.
But
Yeah.
I'll say this: like, I was really excited for this game. I played the demo coming out, very unimpressed. The character models
Me too.
were just kind of meh. The level design was kind of boring. But I'll say this, the shooting mechanics were
That's
great.
disheartening.
The gameplay mechanics themselves were pretty solid, I would say.
Well, the thing about
So-
Insomniac, they do solid mechanics. There's never a bad game. It's just sometimes they're uninspired. Like I said, I give criticism of Resistance 2 as being kind of uninspired.
But
way it
this game
operates-
was...
Yeah, that looks kind of generic.
Well, okay.
Exactly.
But, see, you probably haven't heard of Overstrike, I'm guessing.
But Overstrike was a fantastically cartoony style multiplayer shooter.
Okay, Overstrike was Fuse.
Right, I don't say
Okay.
that. It was a fantastic premise, but
Yeah, it looked awesome.
the
The
publisher
art
jumped
style
in
was
and was like,
completely different. It was like if you take Incredibles and then mix it with Fuse,
Mhm.
that's what you would have. It was a little more cartoony. It was a third person shooter. It looked incredible. Lots of cutscenes and funny dialogue. It looked like an Insomniac game. But at some point, I'm guessing EA stepped in. They weren't. I don't know exactly what happened, but they switched directions
Call of Duty
completely.
crowd. Those guys buy games.
EA kills so much creativity before it ever gets out the door.
hmm
I mean, it's a difference between graphics and aesthetics, is what it is. I mean, it's looking at the Fuse shots now. Yeah, that's
If you look
the
at
graphics
Fuse,
look bland.
it looks very boring. But
But,
if you
you
look
know-
at Overstrike,
yeah.
It's
look that up, and
It had that
looks
kind of. I mean,
so
Team Fortress.
fun.
You know, two
Team Fortress
rather.
is awesome.
You look at that kind of cartoony aesthetic they've got going. Yeah, the graphics aren't super high, but it doesn't matter because the aesthetic allows it to be low.
Apparently, there was
and
a
fun.
Venture Brother DLC pack for Team Fortress 2.
I didn't know
Don't
that.
lie to me.
I'm not lying. I
Can you
like
be
I
Brock
said,
Sampson?
You can.
Can you be a henchman?
You can.
23 or 24.
I'm not sure that it's a specific henchman, but there.
Those are the two famous ones.
Yeah, I know, but the one in the game, I'm not positive. It was definitely not
The
21.
butterfly wings.
It could have been 24. He's the dead one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
23 is the still alive, I believe.
Was he 23? Oh, I was thinking of 21.
This
Okay,
number's dead.
The skinny one's dead.
there is a henchman.
Yeah.
I'll say that, and there is a Brock Sampson and one other guy.
Is there a doctor girlfriend?
No Dr. Girlfriend.
Deep.
Funniest story about Dr. Girlfriend, my wife, she's East European, and it's a guttural language, the Bulgarian language is. And I remember one time, my wife, when I met her, I thought she was kind of a raspy, lower voice for a chick, right? She's beautiful, and she's got a great figure and all that, but it's like, she's got kind of a deeper voice for a gal. And one of the funnier stories about that was she really lashed on the Dr. Girlfriend immediately. She's like, that chick is tough, I like that chick, right? And so there's this one gal who woke up and chewed a pack of cigarettes for breakfast every day. I used to work with her. And so...
Rick, how you doing?
She's like, hey, Rick, how you doing? And one time, my wife and this girl met at the same time. I was like, hey, Rick, how you doing? How you doing? It's just like these combined baritone female voices just graveling together, you know?
It's kind of a Spaceballs moment.
Yeah, totally.
Where they gotta save the princess? No. Wow, that's a hell of a baritone there. Princess do it. Yeah. So no one Fuse, huh?
No on Fuse.
But
But
yeah,
here's a-
again, and maybe one of those games you pick
Well,
up
actually,
down
yeah,
the road
I'm
and
still
multiplayer
gonna-
just compels you, but
I know that I'm going to buy it. I want to support Insomniac, and I know that game's not going to do
it's
good.
not. It's going to die. It's going to
Nobody-
put out to pasture.
Yeah, it's going to do terrible. But speaking of EA, Star Wars.
Ugh.
Ah.
Their
Gross.
stock went up 17% after that.
I actually
Yeah.
laid off 300 fucking people in the last 2 months. It's crazy and it's ridiculous. Okay, video game. Let's take a look at BioShock Infinite. You guys remember how much time they spent developing that game? This beautiful game.
10 years.
5 years.
5
BioShock. 5 years. Okay. EA just acquired the license, and the next game's coming out when?
What, next year?
Next year. Wow, it's gonna be a great fucking license game. It's gonna be the days.
Well,
of,
I mean, that's what they
early
did in
days of
Dead Space,
Activision.
though. I mean, I felt like they took Dead Space from great survival horror that was very claustrophobic and scary because it was EA Redwood doing it,
Right.
and then once the EA mothership got a hold of it, they just kind of diluted it to microtransaction.
but the
Action,
microtransactions
running
aren't obtrusive to the gameplay. I love Dead Space.
Right. It's just, to me, like the run and gun thing, became more of the kind of that. What was it? The Mercenaries of the Masks, 40.
Oh, you're talking about
Army of
Army of Two.
2 or whatever, and so like that, it felt
which
more
was
like that
Redwood
to me.
too, right? The Army 2-3 was Redwood.
Right, but
So-
I don't know. It just felt more like that and less like horror. Like I want something that's pushes the envelope a little bit, and EA just doesn't like doing that. I mean, how many years did they go without blood in their games?
But here, in defense of EA, because I know that people love to poo-poo them on the internet, but I will say this. How many major publishers actually introduced new IPs this generation? How many? Activision sure as shit didn't do it.
Like,
Sony started it, and they got their asses handed
you're
to them.
talking first, third, like
Any party.
Okay.
First, second, third party. EA introduced 4 or 5 right off the bat. 3 or 2 of them stuck around the entire generation.
who did Sleeping Dogs? Was that
Square picked it
Squaresoft?
up. That was supposed to be...
Activision or EA?
I thought it was Activision.
It's Activision. Really, it's going to be... what was that? Monster...
Yeah.
Are you talking about games that are out or
Like
Just
new
new
IPs. Like this
IPs,
generation, in the last 7
Destiny?
years, you can take a look at Microsoft Destiny is a continuation from the next generation.
And that's not
really.
going to, but that's a new IP, but it's not going to be out till when?
this?
It's not coming out this year.
14? 2000?
No, but that does look tasty.
It was fantastic. But I mean, like the EA introduced right off the bat, first year, 5 new IPs right off the bat. And Sony did it, got their asses handed to them. What Microsoft did, they put out Gears of War, and that was it.
What?
And
I'm trying to. We're talking 360 and PS3.
Nintendo didn't introduce any IPs. They just put
Who cares about that?
right, exactly.
Yeah, right. They're just whatever.
And so EA gets a lot of shit, and I don't know what their working practices are like. I hear there's like 80 hours.
Is it THQ did Darksiders?
Yeah,
Okay,
THQ.
that's somebody. And I love Darksiders 1
and they
too.
kept their Red Faction series going.
Yeah.
Darksiders is the one new IP that they pulled out of the whole mix.
Assassin's Creed.
GHQ.
Okay, so Activision.
Ubisoft.
Or Ubisoft, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
When did Rayman come out? Was that?
Rayman's
that's not a
from
new
PS1.
IP.
Rayman's old school,
Yeah.
but it's good. But it's old
That
school.
new Rayman game was
Yeah.
solid. It was very good.
I've been looking more to indie games, and like
Oh yeah.
As
Because
I'm
in franchise
going there.
fatigue, right?
Got, like,
yeah, I'm
Limbo.
getting tired. I mean, I love Bethesda,
Journey.
but I get tired. Like Skyrim was really fun, but I get tired. Like it's in essence the same kind of.
Mm-hmm. And the
thing.
spirit, it's Oblivion. And and it's a sequel to Oblivion. It's like EA gets a lot of crap, and probably deservedly so in some respects. But we got Dead Space, the best and only real survival horror series this whole generation we got. Because Resident Evil went total Gears of War route.
Mm-hmm.
We got Army of Two, which is a bro shooter and it's stupid. You can put it down the drain if you want to, but it had some. It was a new IP. We got Mass Effect, and people like to trash the ending. That was a fantastic adventure. No one's done anything like that
Was
before.
Mass Effect before EA acquired BioWare or after?
I don't remember.
Because I think that was before. Because Mass Effect 2 was more of an EA, and I liked Mass Effect 2. I liked what they
Microsoft
did to it.
published Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, so I think that's more of a BioWare.
Okay, well maybe it's a BioWare thing, but
Because they also kind of, it felt a little diluted because of their sped up
the
deployment
development
cycle.
cycles were really
Yeah.
short. But like you take a look at the Japanese model where you've got
Right.
the 6-year development cycle on Gran Turismo. You take a look at the development cycle on what's the one that
Say
Shadow-
Turismo again.
Yeah, Turismo.
Turismo.
You got
It's like a 60s Italian movie. Ciao. Turismo.
Turismo.
you got the development
Bippity
cycle
boopity.
on what was that Shadow Colossus? What's the
That was a
Guardian
great game, though.
It was fantastic.
Konami.
Guardian?
Konami, well, that's not new, actually. They just rebooted it.
Yeah,
That new Castlevania game was sick.
it's fantastic.
Oh, my God. It was
Okay,
so good.
I had it. Didn't make it very far.
But that's Hideo Kojima doing his thing on a
He did it.
Castlevania game, so go figure, right?
So, just quick tangent on Hideo Kojima. WTF, why is David Hayter
don't get me started.
not going to be Snake in the next motherfucking Metal Gear Solid game? Like, why do I play Metal Gear Solid? I play it for Snake. I don't care about Raiden.
Why are they still making those games?
Shut up.
Well, because people will pay money for it. But
That's true.
Did you play Revengeance at all? I
no.
haven't played it either.
After Snake Eater, I was kind of like, whatever.
You didn't play Peace Walker?
Mm-mm. I don't have a PS3.
Did you have PSP?
I went the 360 and computer route. I didn't go.
We can play HD editions. It's cheap.
For me, it's the
$15.
controller thing. I've never liked the PlayStation controller.
I'm the other way. I hate the
Oh,
Xbox.
I think the Xbox is a better controller.
The offset is so much better for DualShock, in my opinion. But I prefer
This
it.
guy.
I know. But
Halo-
I think
Halo's
the
also my
Xbox 360
favorite.
controller was a better
Yeah.
controller
Franchise.
design-wise,
Alright, we're
but,
connecting.
but, man, Peace Walker was the best ever Metal Gear game.
I think part of the reason I fell out a little bit of love with Metal Gear was Metal Gear Solid 2 was
Sons of
mind
Liberty,
blowing.
right?
Yeah, Sons
It's
of Liberty.
awesome. It's
I was
amazing.
like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then you have to play the ride, and you're like, I can live with it. Okay, it's cool. And you get to the end, and we actually fell asleep because we were like teenagers and had school the next day, and we were
high as a kite.
we kind of like and then kind of fell asleep. Woke up, we're halfway through the last boss battle, and we're winning, and we're asleep. And at that point, I'm like, there's something fundamentally wrong with the block feature in that we can counter while we're not even trying. But like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, one of my all-time favorite games.
Fantastic.
I don't think I've played a better game that's more completely thought out. Yeah, the villains are cheesy, and I don't care.
But they're awesome.
The
Like totally
camouflage
80s
stuff,
villains, man.
yes, like the sniper fight.
Oh, with the end.
All of that is just delicious. So
Yeah.
but you're right. I mean, EA has produced a lot of new IP, and yeah.
Well, with Hater, it's like the part of me is sort of like, I don't mind getting a new voice in the mix, but
Mhm.
why are they keeping the same Japanese voice actor for the Japanese version of the release of the game? It's like Hater should
Shake
be-
it up.
From a gamer standpoint, I miss Hater, but I'm already ready for something new too. And new IPs are important. That's pretty much all I have to say about anything. Any Oklahoma stories you want to touch upon? Any local stuff you want to hit on the way out the door?
I work, I go home, the cat annoys me, and then I repeat process.
I hope there's a shower in there somewhere.
There's a shower in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I try to do that once a week.
Every day, the cat jumps into the
Dirt
bathtub
shower.
like, I don't know what's gonna happen here. This sounds like fun, and then I turn on the faucet, and he's like, water's new to him.
What would we do without our pets, honestly? We love our pets. And
I would spend less time vacuuming.
That's not
That's
that's
true.
true.
I would also not have to dump cat shit
I
every
could-
other day.
I could wear
Yeah.
black again.
Sometimes I have problems with, my dog was always housebroken, but not everybody's dogs are that way.
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
We'll get that in post.
Oh.
we'll get that in post.
That was a segue.
That was a
Damn, Wes.
A Segway is actually a
I'm
two-wheeled
like
vehicle.
throwing you, I'm like lobbing up the softball. Wes is like, we're playing baseball?
I didn't
Do
think
you
we were-
really want to pluck that gem for episode 2? I mean, now is
I think
Yeah.
you might want to
time as
save
any.
it for epic stories in
Yeah.
episode 3 or 4.
I think we'll save that.
or maybe your 5th
But as a
anniversary
teaser-
I
of
didn't-
episode
yeah.
5.
let me just say, at some point, there's going to be the most epic vomit story of all time.
Is it epic across any species or just because I've got some
Oh,
epic
it's
vomit
cross
stories.
species, but only in this.
I've made
Do
people
we-
throw up by talking to them. Maybe we should all bring the best vomit story in.
Okay, we'll bring a
Do we
vomit story
want?
next time.
Do we want
Ooh,
me
I
to
like
go
that.
there?
I don't
Well,
know.
I think you're right. We'll run it up. Anything about music you want to mention? Anything locally? I know the Yeah Yeah Yeahs fell right out of the top 10 after
Oh.
last week. They
Oh,
just lopped out.
I went and saw. What are they called? It slips my mind every time.
Oh, the defining times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he
what's
went to
the
that
Finally
show.
saw them. They're awesome.
Yeah, Chase is a
That
really
guy
good
is
singer.
like his
And that
voice.
rhythm section is tight,
Woo!
and they're just brilliant.
And
brilliant
if all goes according to plan, we'll have a song by then.
Sure,
at
we
the end
should.
of the
I'll talk to
podcast.
Chase, and we'll get it dropped on this week. Which one do you want to plop on there?
We'll talk about that.
Cool, sounds good.
That's what the name of the song is. We'll talk.
I
about
have terrible taste in music, so I will probably
Well,
never
we'll
be
get you,
part of
we'll
that
get you in the
segment.
mix, brother.
Yeah,
no doubt.
let me. I'll explain this real quick. The music that we've been playing is all Oklahoma bands or bands from Oklahoma. So we're gonna try to stick with that if we can until we run out of Oklahoma bands or good Oklahoma bands anyway. So
We talk about media and video games, and especially movies and that stuff a lot, but we love music. We love it to our core. Like half of the people in this room are in bands, and we play
We'll
music every day.
probably at some point feature music from both of our bands.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
anyway,
Nice.
Well, I think that about wraps it up. We squeezed this one dry, so thanks for
What a-
sticking around. If you have for the last hour and 40 minutes.
Oh God.
So
reader questions. If
You'll fix that in
do we have an
post.
email now?
yeah, we're legit. We've got an email if you want to send questions, comments.
I love it
Please.
and everything.
Please send us questions because I am dying to read some.
Wouldn't read your
some
questions be a blast
Yeah.
if you had that much relevance?
If you're still listening, send us questions. I'll come over to your house personally and give you a hug.
Man, God bless.
And you can send those letters, those lovely letters, to getpluggedpodcast@gmail.com. And anybody got any Twitter handles to plug or?
John Eric Osborne at Twitter. I post things about music and movies and weird statistical information from across the world. I like posting anecdotal information about weird facts and information, and I think people who get bitchy on Facebook should be fucking erased from the earth because they're boring and negative, and I like the idea of just posting funny stuff out there. So follow me on Twitter at johnericosborn.com. And
Yeah, I don't know you guys well enough to give you my Twitter handle. If you find me,
But his home address is.
if you find me on Twitter, sometimes I post snarky stuff. Occasionally, very rarely, I post illustrations or stuff that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Chances are really good if you find me on Instagram, you'll see lots of food and cat pictures, which is typical of my people.
What do you mean, my people?
The pseudo hipster. Yeah. So
did you read that interesting story about that cow trying to jump over a barbed wire fence? Did you hear this story?
what?
Yeah,
That
cow-
sounds like an Oklahoma story.
right. Well, it was
That-
under
Did you
construction.
post it on Twitter or
If it can get over a moon,
at least a moon?
it could get over a moon.
But are we talking about like a literal moon, or like maybe somebody just like their pants fell off and they were bending over? I don't know.
I feel like Eric was maybe trying to segue into something. That
No segue there. It's just a bad joke.
So the moon is made out of cow cheese.
Jeez.
Wow.
Your
Anyway,
segue, your segue skills are weak. You need to level that up.
All right, Wesley, what do you got to throw out there?
Yeah,
handle
follow
wise?
me on Twitter at Weskeydeen. That's WHESKEYDEAN.
And next week we'll have catchphrases.
yeah. And with that, we out. Bye, everybody.
For those of you that stuck around for an hour and nearly 40 minutes, we have a special little treat for you. I'm going to play a song off of Defining Time's newest EP, Separate Tongues, and it's called Streets. The song is really, really good, and you can find them on Bandcamp. Just go to definingtimes.bandcamp.com. They also did let us use a little bit of music during the first intermission. And again, thanks to Ram for the intro song, and we also played a little bit of their music during the second intermission. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start this song by Defining Times. It's again called Streets. Check them out on Bandcamp. They're really good. All right, enjoy.
Don't let me catch you in my room. You should learn to walk in your own shoes. And the fire in your soul will burn you out. Time slips away when you're like me. 1 year can then turn into 3. So son, can
pretty fair to say, isn't it, Lily?
I just called to say I fucking am afraid of birds.